One of the hardest things to stomach and truly digest is the fact that when you see something, you're like, I could have done it better. I could have done it right. I could have made it happen. And I'm sure you felt this way, right? And I felt it many times in my life too. But when it comes to life, right, it's not about playing on the sidelines because life isn't a spectator sport. It's about doing the thing if you want to do the thing. And if you're not going to do the thing, then you shouldn't have any judgment because you're not doing the thing or you're not planning to do the thing. You were never planning to do the thing. Maybe you're just watching, right? So only you can know that answer for yourself. In my life, a good example is beatboxing. It's making music with your mouth. I went from learning it to then competing in competitions to then being ranked, domestically and internationally. And then I went with me and like a whole team to create America's largest international beatbox events, basically, for multiple years in a row. Then COVID happened, took it online, and keep on iterating, right? So the point is, all of this, right? I've seen, in the beginning time frame, my peers, they'd be posting videos online, and I'm talking, when video platforms were first coming out. And I wouldn't post, I would practice my beatboxing and all the things. But the truth is, when I would watch these videos, just like a spectator sport, it would be like, oh, I could have done that better. Oh, I just learned this thing. This guy doesn't know it. Oh, this guy's an idiot. Oh, well, what a dumb, kind of thing, right? And so it's just like sports, how you see fans screaming and shouting, oh, how did you, miss that over there? Oh, I could have done that in my sleep. Oh, man, even a rookie could have made that shot, right? Like all of this comes from where? It comes from, yeah, I get it, right? Reaction, emotion, and it's all great, right? And like sports can be a fun time and whatnot. But the truth you have to answer to yourself, right, is what is that thing that you want, right? What is that thing maybe you dream about, maybe daydream about? Maybe you see something and you're like, every day you see the same thing. Maybe it's passing a billboard, right? You see an advertisement and, some people think, should I call that advertisement? Should I not? But maybe what goes through your mind is, hey, I see that billboard. I can see it every day when I go to work, but on the way back, like, I know when I take this certain route, I look to the left and I'm like, I can't see the scene anymore because maybe the lights don't work. Maybe there are no lights, right? So up to you. Maybe you want to now have a, hey, let's install some lights. Let me call this guy. And maybe that goes from one project to a whole business, right? You never know, right? But the point is, we all have thoughts like these, like just day in, day out, the, ebb and flow, right? But the goal that you have, right? If there is a really concrete goal and you know the way that someone has done this path to get to that goal, and you're not implementing any of those strategies or following the path, it may be okay because you can, carve your own path. But the point is, if every day you're thinking about, hey, this is this, and I think so many things about this, right? Why do you not want to be this? So if this is basically, let's say, a champion track star, right? Or I don't know, just a basketball player or, a beatboxer, right? The point is, it's like you can judge, right? Your whole life can go judging and just reacting, right? You're basically taking input and you're like a mirror or a shitty mirror giving away reflections of, what you're seeing. But what are you creating for yourself? What are you actually doing, right? If you ask yourself, and I'm not trying to be hard, I'm just trying to be honest, right? Where it's like, hey, if you want something, go get it. Okay, you don't know how to start. Okay, imagine there's so much AI and ChatGPT and Claude and all these things. If you want to go do something, it's not like we don't have tools to tell you how to get started, right? And a lot of people, when we talk about telling, including myself, I would digest a lot of videos on these type of topics that I'm making videos on this about online, right? And for years, I would be watching, and thinking, man, like, my thoughts would have been this if this was the video title and the thumbnail, or they're talking about this, and like, da 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 da. And you can kind of see I'm making videos now about these topics because I stopped telling myself, all right, I'm just going to keep watching. I'm going to digest all the best 5 ways to never be stressed again, 5 ways to be happy, guaranteed, like all of these type of videos, like I can watch. But where my voice wanted to be was in the conversation. I didn't want to be just a viewer. I didn't want to say, I'm going to spend my time watching all of these things, and what do I have to show for it? Yeah, I may get like a little cleaner in my mental health. Maybe I have output, right? In the quote unquote real world of whatever I'm doing. Maybe my day to day is happier, right? Or maybe digesting this maybe makes me more physically fit because it's true. I've seen influencers, creators, other folks on the platform. they may be jacked, right? They may be, not jacked, but maybe they look fine. But their mental clarity thoughts that they express are so pristine and straightforward. And if you ever think about the inverse, and there's something about bigger people, overweight, obese, all those like politically correct, right? Social justice warrior terms. It's just being fat, right? Let's be real. So if you're fat, I used to be fat. I still am for my own standards, right? Some people may say, "Oh, you're not fat," but like I feel that I could do better for my own version of what I see myself as, right? That's my standard. So even you, what is your standard? Because you have a standard, you're literally saying, "Hey, I think whatever your reaction to something you see, But if life was all about just watching things go and how everything, how the ocean is going, the lake, oh wow, I saw a boat on the seashore today pass by, like you can keep watching. There's nothing wrong. But if you already have all the resources in the world, all the tools, aka you have money, you have time, your energy is fine, your health, do what you want, right? But if you're watching this far in this video, then you know that, hey, I can't just keep, watching the days go by. I cannot just keep being a robot. So what do? What you do is say, okay, if a fan or a spectator is viewing the situation like from this angle, what would the person that's actually doing it do, right? And only through doing those steps can you really know the nuance, the nitty gritty, the iterations of, steps 1 to 10. The truth is, someone who's a professional or someone who's even done it once can tell you, oh, thanks for those steps, but actually, like, if I could, rewrite that list, I'd actually add, like, 1A, 1B, maybe there's, one extra step at step 5, which doesn't mean a whole new, step to make it 11 steps, but I think, this should happen because if this happens, then, the point is, you see that train of thought, you keep seeing exactly what needs to happen, but it happens from how? Happens from doing. Happens from taking the first action and the second one and the third, or trying again, right? If you release one video, then make a second one, make a third one. Be 1% better each and every time, and there's no way in this world you will not succeed. Now, when will you succeed? I can't guarantee it. And if you want to get there faster, you put in that much more work, right? But for me, in my life, I kept seeing opportunities just pass by me because I was spectating. So in my life, from an investment perspective, I'm talking about stock market, cryptocurrency markets, real estate, right? So when I see like, all right, man, Apple, whatever, man, it's a blue chip stock. You fast forward years later, right? It keeps on going. Apple, then Nvidia, AMD, Tesla. Like you can be involved in it. There's price action, trade in and out, make profits. But sometimes you think like, man, if you just left some money and just from the sidelines, let it sit there and you can just watch it grow and do nothing. Like in these cases, it would have worked with certain stocks. Don't get me wrong. But real life, by just sitting there and doing nothing, the difference is in the stock market, you have capital invested. So your dollars are working. Something is happening, right? Whether we like it or not, right? Those numbers going up and down, since you're invested, that's real money that's going up and down, right? If you wanted to sell right then. But if you're just watching and doing nothing yourself, right? You're just maybe digesting useless information and you're spitting out a bunch of nothing. You're producing nothing. So there's nothing going on. So the funny part, full circle, is that with all of that said, I said to myself, hey, I can be a guy who waits for opportunities. I can be a guy who seeks opportunities. Or I can be the guy who also can make opportunities. So this video, you can say it's sponsored by me, but what I'm really have done this far is after all the trials and tribulations, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not just going to wait on the sidelines anymore. And we're talking like 10 years of corporate America experience and, all the best engineering school in the world that I went to and all the social labels, as I keep saying in this video and other videos. So without that being of any value, what is the real value, right? So for me, it's basically cash on cash, because if you have money, then you can buy your time back. And if you buy your time back, you can either choose your time to make more money, or you can, take a step back or what have us. But in this perspective, right, it's not just me. If I want to live alone, for the rest of my life, I could, in terms of like being financially okay, my skills, whatever. But that's not my focus. I'm looking at a bigger picture of having enough resources and tools for those around us. So the opportunity here is nothing but there's a real estate project. It's a 250-room hotel. It's going for 5-star status. No one can ever guarantee that before the construction because there's an accreditation board. But basically, the investment starts from 15K USD up to 3 mil, just depending where you're watching from. You can basically get a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom in this hotel room, but you can also just own like profit sharing square footage. Now, when the hotel is built, construction has started, it takes around, let's say, 2-3 years, right? When it's actually built, there would be cash flows. But the beauty about this is that you're not just funding the land underneath. The land is already bought, owners, developers, all the things. It's more than 50% of the project is from my side, right, equity-wise, and then everything else is I can go to the bank, but instead of paying interest rate to the bank, the opportunity here is, hey, I'll just give interest to you, right, before it's fully constructed. So in other words, you're getting cash flow on something that seems like, hey, the business is not even open yet, like how is this happening? But really, it's just the same difference of an arbitrage between interest rates from the bank versus borrowing from us, and you're still getting cash flow for the same money that isn't just sitting on land, because this land is now actively being developed, so you get appreciation there, and it's a commercial property, so more appreciation. And in the end, when it's actually like in business, right, it's the same difference. Can you buy a hotel room today at the Westin by Marriott? Can you buy one at any other hotel and say, I want, my terms are this, and this is what's going to happen, and thank you so much, IHG or Mr. Marriott? It does not happen like that. And so here you get to do that, and you can sell it. And I can tell us I cannot guarantee anything, right? But if we're talking 2-3x in a highly developing area and a very major tourist area, right? 2-3x, especially to control cash flows, right? Somebody else, you can either sell it really quick, and I would facilitate, buy sell kind of stuff very easily too. So all of that to say, it's a great opportunity. I'm here to answer any and all questions one-on-one. There's a link in the description below. If you want to talk about this or anything else, I'm here for us, because I'm looking at a community of, hey, I've met a lot of people in my life, but in the end, it's like, there's certain type of people that think a certain way that can really, 1 + 1 = 3, that synergy, because it's all about the team and the people in the end of the day to go for any idea from 0 to 100 or even to that next level. So if you came this far, thanks as always. Like, share, subscribe, all the things. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace for now.